Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Chris Yee.
And we're going to be taking a look today at A Wild Venture, a new board game coming from PIKA Games. This is an offshoot of Fantasia Games, a different line here. 2-player only. Head-to-head battle of the frogs, the crows, and the rabbits.
That's right.
Did I get it?
I think so.
Them one-eyed rabbits.
Going off memory here.
Too many ventures.
So like I said, 2-player head-to-head game. Let's learn how to play here. Quick overview from Z, and then we'll let you know our thoughts.
In the game, each player is going to have their own area set up, looking very much like this. You have 3 starting cards here. 1 that ties to the character you chose to play as. In my case, I am this little crow. So I begin with this card face up in front of me. And then I have a random hand of 5 cards, as well as 5 coins over here, and 1 of these tokens. You have the board, which is double-sided. They recommend you start on this side, and it's been seeded with a few tokens, and we are now ready to begin. You have a player aid right here, and then this card that you'll be tucking other cards under, as well as having a reminder for the scoring on the other side. So this game is going to be over when that deck of cards runs out, and after that, we're going to then go over the scoring. So the scoring is going to go like this. You are going to see everything you've tucked under this card. You're going to separate those things out, and then you're going to count your villagers in each of the 3 groups. You are going to have crow cards, little rabbit, and then the little toad fella. And so you'll separate those things, and you are going to multiply the number of villager cards of the smallest of those 3 groups by the largest of those 3 groups. So say I ended up with 3, 5, and 7 of these under this card. 3 times 7 would be 21 points for that. You're also going to check the gear you've tucked under here, and you are going to be multiplying those cards by the number of building cards you've got. They'll be building out here that have 1 of these enchantment tokens on them. So let's say I only have 1 of these, and I tucked 5 gear cards, 5 times 1 for 5 points. And then also buildings are going to score victory points if they have supplies on them. What are supplies? Supplies are the back of the tokens, the coins here. So this, in my pool, represents 1 coin flipped over and sitting on a card or on a building. That is a supply. And you'll be spending those from here in order to trigger the abilities on the cards. Once that card is fully emptied, that's when you pick it up and you tuck it under here. So that is the general flow of the game. And on your turn, as it says in our player aid, you're going to get 2 main actions as well as possibly some free actions. So let's say it's my turn. I am ready to start, and my actions are as follow. I can play a card from my hand. If I have the amount of coins, I could spend those coins. I can play this card where it goes. If it's a villager, it goes right here. If it's a building, it goes over here, such as this building right here. And then there's also gear cards, and the gears go up above in a 3rd row closest to your opponent. I don't have any of those right now, but I'll show you them in 1 second. So I could, as my first action, I could play this card. It's going to cost me 3 coins. It comes into play with 1 supply. So I would take these 3, put them in the supply there, and then take 1 and put it there so that I know I can trigger that once. That's 1 main action. As my second main action, maybe I'll trigger this, and I'll discard that, and I will draw 2 cards because it says draw 2 right there. That's it. And now I could do, again, also free actions. What are those free actions? Well, they're over here. You can activate a villager that says free action on it. Neither one of these do, but sometimes they say that. Or you can enchant a building by putting this on that building and triggering whatever ability goes off when you put the enchantment on it. That's generally it. Now that I've done both my main actions and I am done with that, it'll be my opponent's turn. So the common things you are going to find displayed on the cards and on abilities. You have these 3. These 3 you always have in front of you, and sometimes you'll be able to upgrade them to have a slightly better action on the back. But they're basically, this one is draw 1, which you already saw me draw a card. This is gain 2. Gaining means gaining coins. So my next turn, I could perhaps gain 2 as my first action and take 2 more coins there like so. And then this one says Adventure 1. Adventure is how you move on this map. And wherever you stop, you are going to gain that ability. We start here where it says home, and you can go this path, which branches. You can go this way, or you could go that way. As you find things along the road, if you stop in them, you'll get that. So 5 coins here, for example. You could, over here, activate or level up your starting Froggy card here. And if you find a treasure chest, it reminds you what those do on the back of the player aid, usually letting you tuck cards from your hand, draw more cards, or adding supplies to villagers so that you can trigger them some more times before they go away and get tucked away. So that is the idea. So if my first action was gain 2 and then I adventure 1, maybe I'll go here and I gain 5 coins. I would take a 5-coin token from the supply, put that in front of me, and I'm done. And it'll be my opponent's turn. The cards you haven't seen yet are going to be, well, there's quite a few you haven't seen. I'll show you a couple of things. That one says free action. So again, that wouldn't be one of my 2 actions to take a token off of it and trigger it. There are gear cards. The gear cards go up here. They're going to come in with supplies, just like everything else does. And they are going to have a banner, a belt right there that says what to watch out for in order to trigger this card. In this case, it says tuck 1 or more cards from anywhere except play. So if at any time myself or my opponent would tuck 1 or more cards from our hand, let's say, under here, this triggers. And whoever did the thing gets one of these off of here as a coin. And so I might perhaps gain that. Once they're all gone, the owner of the card, of this gear card, gets this relic ability, and then we will tuck that under here. So that is how gear works. Your opponent could benefit from those. And then lastly, we've got the buildings. Buildings are going to go in this bottom row. They do not have supplies, you'll notice, so I would pay for that. And it basically has something that it watches out for, and usually you end up being able to invest in these. Investing means taking a coin, flipping it over, putting it on there. That's a victory point at the end of the game. They also can be enchanted. You can put one of these on there, only one, and it'll do something when you choose to enchant it. In this case, it says Adventure 3. So if I do that, I could go 1, 2, 3. You'll notice some spots here on the main board, such as that there and that there, will have you finish your action and then come back home, and you'll continue from there again. So you could traverse these paths multiple times. That's the general flow of the game. Gain cards, adventure on the map, gain money to buy those cards, activate them, empty them, tuck them so that you can score when the deck runs out at the end of the game. And of course, whoever has the highest score is the winner.
All right, so first up, I think that this is a really neat design and illustrator team here. It's a husband and wife. The husband designed the game and the wife is the illustrator. I thought that was really unique, and it comes together in a really nice package. I feel like the two work very well together.
Yeah, it has a lot of humor in it. I love that. The titles of the cards with the artwork bring out a lot of humor and a lot of levity to the game. And I think that's great, yeah.
I think it's fun, too, because there's stuff in there that, like, conceptually is funny for adults, and for little kids, they're like, that bunny's hoarding all those carrots. You're like, yeah, he's a wealth monger.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't really know that.
Got
But yeah, so the humor punches at like a few different levels very well.
Right. And I think with that as well, we'll see that same concept broken down into 3 different factions, the crow, the rabbit, and the frog factions as well, which have their individual personalities. And you see, like you said, with the rabbits, that kind of coming out. It's the one that's going to give all the money, and you see that in the artwork. But that's going to play very differently from the crows, you know, for a chance. And I think it's really cool that they're all 3 involved in each game, but have so much different personality.
The game has a little bit of a feel of a trading card game in many ways. That feeling of, well, this faction does this and this faction does that, and you sort of shuffle them up together and make that thing work. You're not doing that in this game. In this game, the deck has all 3 in there, but you'll adapt as to what you use them for. I need to make more money. I need more rabbit cards, you know, what have you.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like one of those what we call large deck game of cards or card games like your Terraforming Mars, or the one that I'm thinking of that I just drew a blank on, which is great while you're on camera.
Love when that happens.
But I mean the The zoo one is the one you're probably thinking of.
I was thinking of the Ryan Lockett one, Creature Caravan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Gives me some little similarities
Yeah.
to that while feeling like a completely different game. But yeah, like, ooh, good, I drew some frog cards. Ooh, but this particular frog card is so good for what I'm doing. This one lets me venture 6 spaces.
Right.
But he can only he's expensive. He'll only activate twice, and then he retires. But that's good that he'll retire.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I like that there's a few different axes on which you value cards.
Right.
Right.
And it just makes for a fun kind of decision space with them.
It is a nice, clean system to have you build an engine and then organically break that engine.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, once the things run out, once the activations are done, then you take that card and tuck it into your scoring card and forget about it. And you're like, oh, well, that's gone. I can't do that anymore. But my scoring is ideally going up. So I find it to be very elegant and an interesting way to not feel bad that your engine is designed to break down.
And I think it leads to 2 things. I think it leads to, one, some great combos on your turn. You know, every time you play a rabbit card, you get to trigger this other card, or you get a coin, or get to adventure, something like that. So you're going to build out these great combos that feel good, but then it's also leading to really positive player interaction.
Right.
You are engaged throughout the entire gameplay here because you have cards out in front of you, maybe some of the treasures that you have that you need to know. If either player does X, then you do Y, or you get to take a token out of it or off that card, which is eventually going to break down the engine that you've built, but that's a coin, and that's going to go back to you that you're going to get. So it has that neat, I feel like I'm giving you something because you're taking that coin, but also I get this action, or it's getting closer to breaking down that card, which is then going to go to my scoring.
Right.
So some really great combos and also some positive player interaction that's constantly keeping you engaged. A couple qualms that I have with the game, I do feel like that leads to a completely different game once you get to the scoring. And that's probably my biggest beef with this game. It's like game A and then game B. It's like the after game. Now, how to score everything. And that kind of not only halts it, but feels very kind of flat to me.
I don't know if I would describe it as flat, but this is also my other qualm with the game, in that the gameplay is very approachable. There's a few concepts in there that are like a little extra rules teach, but I think the payoff is good for it. Oh, there's equipment cards. Those function differently than building cards, different than character cards. I played this with my 10-year-old daughter because she saw the box. I was like, let's play this frog rabbit game. And the gameplay is so well suited for a wide range of ages, for a range of skills, and it has moments of excitement. It has all the cute artwork. And it plays so well. And then I had to keep reminding her, like, okay, remember that the end game scoring is an algorithm.
Yeah.
It's an equation, and there's multiplication involved. So don't have too few crow cards at the end. Otherwise, you will have like 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of for me, this is a box of 2 games.
Yes,
Right.
I agree. And I think that's why for me, I considered it flat, because I feel like when you get to the scoring and you start seeing that multiplication, that algorithm, and you're like, oh, it kind of forces you to do everything. This is one that the more I play, the less I find myself pursuing new strategies. The strategy just becomes do everything, because you need to make sure you enchant your buildings, because that's one multiplier. You need to make sure you have all 3 kinds of cards in your scoring pile, because that's the multiplier. Because if you only have 2, it's not just multiply your highest and your lowest, it's multiply the highest and the lowest of all 3. And if you have 0, then you get 0 points.
Right.
You know, and so it just kind of, you have to adventure, you have to enchant your buildings, you have to get a certain number of cards, make sure you're trying to get those equal in there and really drive that scoring. So it just kind of ends up falling flat, where it's like, okay, who did everything the best, or feels like it came down to 1 or 2 turns, which might have pushed the game one direction or the other.
Yeah, I did find the many of the aspects to be at odds with themselves. That's certainly one of them, the scoring, and I agree with you. It makes you do everything, especially when you have to enchant buildings for that, multiply the buildings you've enchanted by the thing. You have to explore then. You can't even have a game where you're like, I'm not going to travel and adventure as much. No, you need that token so you can enchant the building. You're going to have to do that too. Then the other thing I found kind of bewildering, honestly, is that the game plays, like I said, kind of like a thinky, crunchy and fun trading card game. It has the keywords, it has all that stuff. But then the scoring's a memory game? It is like, that's a mind-blowing decision. And I know that in there is a variant in which you can play it not like a memory game. But the rules, as written, not with a variant, are that every time you tuck a card under your scoring card, you can't look anymore. So not only are you playing this, tapping, activating, doing all of this stuff with the game, you're also supposed to remember if you have 2 or 3 rabbit cards under there. Why? How does that add to this experience at all?
Well, as well as when that pile also has those treasure cards in there. And so if you're looking at it and you're going with the memory, the standard way to play with the memory, and you're like, all right, I have about 15 cards in there. I know I've put each of them. Oh, but how many treasure cards are that? I don't know. Like, you also have to factor that in. That
Right.
like that whole stack is not just your multipliers.
Right, exactly.
It's also a completely different scoring mechanism.
I'll I'll disagree on this one. I think it adds just a small level of like, I think I'm good there. I'm going to focus on Raven, on Crow cards, whatever. I think. I don't know. I'd like that a little bit because I'm also not taking it that seriously, but I also 100% understand anyone who says, no, I will never play it with the you have to remember the rule.
It comes down to memory at that point. Who has the best memory,
Yeah, I mean, that certainly will help, but I just found the gameplay didn't naturally lead into a memory game. I don't mind a memory game, but the rest of this game doesn't seem like it fit a memory game. You know what I mean?
That.
It'd be like the same, like it would be, it's one step removed from every time you draw a card in this game, you look at it and then set it in front of you facing away, and every time you play a card, you have to pick one of the ones you've drawn but can't look at anymore. It's the same. It's like one step removed from that.
I see.
And that feels not good. That might be a rule people would balk at, but it's almost the same thing as doing it in scoring, which is technically what you're attempting to do is get a high score. It feels strange to me, yeah.
I think that what we all can agree is that the weirdest parts of the game come from the scoring, right? The
Yes.
gameplay. I love going on adventures. I love getting cards. I love getting things that let me add more activations to cards I really like, but also knowing, I won't be able to tuck it as quick.
Right.
Right. Like all those parts of the play are good, but I agree that there are some qualms to be had with the way the game ties to the scoring.
Yeah.
I think my only other issue is the cards that I forget which kind of card they are, but the ones that you can trigger, like, if I, when I play a rabbit card, then I get a coin off of that card over there, and then when the card's empty, you tuck it. It's not super, the text isn't super legible on those. It's like a leather belt printed on the card with like, a piece of writing on there. It's like black on brown writing. It's not great.
You're reading it across from your opponent.
Yeah, I
If
don't
they
love
don't remember
those.
they have that.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't love those. I wish those were a little more visually available to the players.
I agree. Well, with that, I think we can jump into final thoughts here. I'll go first. I'm going to come in at a 7.5. I really find myself enjoying the gameplay of this specifically. The combos and the engine building of it feel so satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
I really like those turns where you're like, if I do this and I get that, oh my gosh, and I can draw a card and then I do this. I think it's great that you have the two things that you can do because you're also, or the two actions you can take on your turn because you can also sequence those together.
Mm-hmm.
If I play this card first, it gives me this power because for the second one, I'm going to do this one, which then triggers that power. It feels great. I love the player interaction of it. You're talking about a little bit of visibility problems with that across the table, but it keeps you engaged. This is one of those where you want to plan out your turn ahead of time, which could end up being very head down. It can't be that game because you have to pay attention to what someone's doing because it might trigger one of your cards or, vice versa. So I really like that of it. But I find myself when I get to the scoring, I don't care. This is a game that I would have fun just playing. And then we get to the end and be like, oh, awesome. Great job. And clean it up. Like, we don't even need to score. Like, I'd be fine not scoring. And it's not that it bothers me. It just feels like a completely different game but it just feels kind of, the scoring feels limp to me and very disconnected. But that being said, I really enjoy the gameplay, so it's a 7.5 for me.
I'm going to come in a little lower at a 7. This gameplay is made for me. I love trading card game stuff. I love card abilities. I love the, Adventure 6 draw 3, keep 1, tuck 1. I love that stuff. Combos, fantastic. The humor in the game and the art and the silliness, the lighthearted nature is good with the artwork meeting the gameplay. And I do find the gameplay a little bit crunchier, but the artwork gives you some levity and some humor. I'll never play with the memory variant, or the real rules, I guess. I'll always play with the variant where you can look at the cards you've tucked, just because I feel like that fits the game a little bit better. And yeah, I wish the scoring was a little more interesting. I wish there was something else to that when the game wraps up. We're not just doing, those two couple of equations and then like, yay, that doesn't feel great. But the journey is definitely the winner here, not so much the destination. So I do like it. I'm going to give it a 7.
And that's why the game's called a wild venture, not a wild scoring. I don't know. No, I agree with everything you said, but the scoring parts don't bother me as much. I'm giving this one an 8. I think it's a ton of fun. I really like playing it. I like that it's one that I can see playing with a variety of people because of that approachability, but also it has that, like as you said, that crunchiness to it, the meaningful card play and everything. So, yeah, the charm of it supersedes the flaws that I see with it, but I'm really looking forward to playing this one more. An 8 for me.
Well, there you go. That's going to be a wild venture. Thanks for joining us here on the Dice Tower. But before we go, a couple thank yous to some of our GameFound backers and supporters. We really appreciate you supporting us here so that we can continue to do this and make these reviews. So shout out to Trudy and Paul West of North Carolina. Thank you.
The best Carolina.
Oh, that's a bold claim there.
It's the only one I know.
Okay. Oh, dear. Mr. Thomas J. Vassell. That's from Carl. David and Stephanie Woods, and then Mando, Tipsy, and Suki. So thank you once again to our GameFound backers and supporters there. All right, thanks for joining us here on the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Z.
I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next time.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Bassel.